Val Hernandez, known in the gaming world as Speedrun, imagines herself immersed in the first-person shooter game, Field of Fire 2046. Suddenly, her alarm blares, snapping her back to reality. She gets ready and heads downstairs, where her father informs her that he called in a major favor from his brother Pedro to secure her an interview. Val, who hadn't landed a job in months, takes in the weight of the opportunity. Her father, Carlos, reminds her to pick up Grandma from the doctor's office after the interview. Outside, Val meets her boyfriend Evan and gets into his car. As they drive off, she changes clothes in the back seat and confides in Evan that her father believes she's heading to a job interview. In truth, she's on her way to a gaming tournament. If Val secures first place, she stands to win $10,000 and potentially launch her professional gaming career. Evan informs her that gaming legend Roy Torvald, also known as Kilohertz, is making a surprise appearance at the event. As they arrive at the arena, Evan reminds her that she doesn't need to win, just qualify. But Val believes that if she can defeat Kilohertz, it will prove she's the best. The competition kicks off and Speedrun quickly takes the lead. However, Kilohertz begins stealing her kills, gradually closing the gap. The two maintain a fierce rivalry until their scores are tied. In a bold move, Val attempts a glory kill instead of a safer takedown, only for Kilohertz to eliminate her avatar from behind. Both Val and Roy advance to the finals. Stunned, Val insists in disbelief that what he did was impossible. No one is that good. Roy arrives and mocks Val for her loss, further fueling her frustration. Evan encourages her to crush him in the finals the next day. Just then, a mysterious man named Kojima approaches Val and compliments her performance, but bluntly tells her that she's still going to lose tomorrow. Introducing himself as her fairy godmother, he hands her a card and confirms her suspicion about Roy. Nobody is that good. When Val tries to question Kojima further, he simply tells her to call him first and walks away. Back at home, Carlos confronts Val about the interview. He's furious after receiving a call from Pedro, who informed him that Val never showed up. Adding to his frustration, Carlos reveals he nearly lost his job because he had to leave work to pick up Grandma, something Val had completely forgotten. Val explains the tournament to Carlos, but he insists she must attend the interview tomorrow. When she tells him she can't because of the finals, his anger intensifies. He accuses her of lying and letting him down, questioning whether she thinks of anyone but herself. Val snaps back, telling her father that she thinks about his miserable job and life and that she wants to choose a different path. She bitterly adds that it's no surprise their mother left. Retreating to her room, she stares at the card Kojima gave her before riding her bike to the Gold Saucer, a gaming cafe. Kojima arrives and reminds Val that he told her to call first. He invites her to sit down and play a game, choosing the hardest difficulty. Val quickly loses. Kojima then offers her an energy drink called Impulse 9, pouring a full cup and handing it to her, urging her to try again with its help. As soon as Val drinks it, time appears to slow down around her. She conquers the game and suddenly finds herself sitting across from Kojima at the table. Kojima explains that Impulse 9 stretches time, but the more it stretches, the harder it snaps back. He tells her she lost about an hour and compares the experience to being blackout drunk. Kojima offers Val a bottle of Impulse 9 for $500. Val protests that it's cheating, but Kojima admits it is, though it might not be wrong. He adds that at least Roy doesn't think so. Kojima then takes a call from Roy as Val glances at the high score she achieved. The next day at the tournament, Val takes a sip of Impulse 9 and begins playing. Roy also drinks Impulse 9 to keep up with Val. After losing to Roy, Val consumes the entire bottle herself and easily defeats him. As Val and Evan share a kiss, the bottle slips and shatters. Suddenly, Val snaps out of the trance to find herself sitting in a rundown house, holding a baby. Evan enters, telling Val they need to get ready as he takes the baby from her. A young girl named Sophia approaches and calls Val Mommy, while a boy named Max sits at the table. Suddenly, Val starts throwing up and rushes outside, where she sees people living in tents. Evan follows and hands her a gas mask, reminding her she forgot it. It's the year 2029, 12 years after the tournament. As Evan and Val take their children to school, Evan explains that he will be scavenging the wasteland before working gate duty. The teacher, sitting in the middle of the street surrounded by desks, warns the children to run and hide whenever they see a dead lizard. A jogger approaches Val, addressing her as sheriff, and warning that Jana's husband snapped back last night. Deputy Dan emerges from a tent holding a pulsar, with the pulsar looking confused and asking why it's the apocalypse. Evan explains that slackers like him consume too much Impulse 9, and when they snapped back, the world fell apart. Pulsar insists he was studying for the finals, but Evan angrily retorts that's exactly what the president said before snapping back with his finger on the nuclear button. Dan agrees, saying Pulsar can't contribute anything useful to their survival, and tells him they have no place for him. Suddenly, the weather alarm sounds, and everyone quickly puts on their gas masks. Back at home, Val struggles to make sense of what has happened. She notices an urn containing Carlos's ashes on the mantel, revealing he died in 2020. Looking into the mirror, she tries to steady herself. Dan calls her downstairs, reminding her they're late for latrine duty. Val protests that she's the sheriff, but Dan replies that she's also the sanitation commissioner, scavenger, and a mom. Dan jokingly warns Val to hurry up or he'll have to throw her out into the wasteland. After cleaning the toilets, Val returns home, where Evan hands her the baby before heading out for gate duty. Several days pass as Val adjusts to her new life, and Sophia presents her with a drawing she made for her. At home, Val finds Evan pedaling a bicycle to power a game console for their monthly game night. She agrees to play one game for the kids while Evan heads to the bug roast. Val excels at the game and teaches her children how to play well. Suddenly, Evan rushes in, and Val realizes she missed her shift. Evan informs Val that Dan tried to get in during a death lizard attack but was killed because she wasn't there to let him in. As Val attempts to leave, Evan insists she still has to finish her shift. Later at home, Val confesses to Evan that she can't continue like this, expressing that they toil and suffer every day, and if they take even a moment's rest, someone pays with their life. Evan reassures Val that one mistake doesn't erase the fact that she's been an amazing mother and a fearless, responsible person. He encourages her to find her own reason for enduring their hardships. Val then writes a note for Evan, gathers supplies, and leaves. The next morning, Evan discovers the note. In the note, Val explains to Evan that she is no longer the woman he married. She is a pulsar. She reveals that the FPS tournament where she defeated Roy took place just last Tuesday for her. Val further explains that after Dan's death, she finally understood why pulsars are sent out into the wasteland. Val hopes to find another bottle of Impulse 9 out in the wasteland. She comes across an abandoned building and realizes it's the Gold Saucer. Inside, she finds Kojima, who recognizes her as Speedrun. Val notices that Kojima looks exactly the same as he did 12 years ago. He explains that solar panels keep the place running. Kojima asks Val what brought her there. She tells him she was kicked out of her community. Kojima realizes she must have just snapped back. Angrily, Val blames him, saying his drink ruined her life. Kojima admits that his drink has ruined many lives, and mentions that he's been visited by numerous pulsars, some of whom are former clients. Kojima explains that he doesn't offer refunds but can give her another bottle of Impulse 9. He tells her she has a choice, either continue living in this harsh world and die a slow, painful death, or chug the bottle, boot up her favorite game, and go out doing what she loves. The best part, he says, is that once she finishes the entire bottle, she won't snap back unless she lives to be 103. Val sits at the game console and turns on Field of Fire. Holding the drawing Sophia gave her, she makes the decision to walk away. Reaching the community gate, she calls for Evan, who urges her to leave, believing she wants back in because life in the wasteland is even harder. Val hands Evan Sophia's drawing and tells him she wants to become the person depicted. She explains that she was only 19 a week ago and is still new to all this, but she's determined to make it work. Suddenly, gunfire erupts in the distance, and Evan yells that the death lizards are attacking. Val realizes that death lizards refers to another community of people, not giant radioactive creatures. As alarms blare, she slips inside. A woman tells her they're all heading to the ravine because they have no choice. Their deputy is dead, and their sheriff is a pulsar. If they don't leave, the death lizards will break down the gates and kill everyone inside. Val gathers her children and tells Evan to take them to the ravine while she holds off the lizards. Evan insists she doesn't have to do this, but Val kisses him and tells him to go. She then steps out to the gates to confront the death lizards, taking her bottle of Impulse 9 with her. The leader of the lizards reveals himself to be Roy. Val warns him to leave or face death. Roy threatens to kill her and then attack the rest of the community at the ravine. In response, Val throws the empty bottle of Impulse 9 at Roy and shoots a nearby fuel canister, igniting it in flames. A raider shoots Val in the shoulder, but she kills him. Another attacker fires at her, yet she manages to kill him as well. Val then shoots a flare into the sky to signal others that the lizards are defeated. The episode ends with Val dying, as Evan watches from a distance. Please like and subscribe the channel for more videos like these.